Error occurred. Moment. Try again. Hello and welcome to the Coalition Life Big News Webcast. You are at the right place at the right time. Welcome to the amazing webcast here at Coalition Life. My name is Brian Westbrook, and I am the founder and executive director of Coalition Life. And it's an honor and it's a privilege to be with each and every single one of you today as we talk about some of the amazing, great things happening here at Coalition Life and around the country. Of course, here in the Midwest as well. But let's start, as we do everything, with a word of prayer. And today I wanted to start with one of my favorite Bible verses here, which is in St. Luke. It's Luke chapter 16, verse 10. It goes like this: "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in that which is greater. He that is unjust in that which is little is unjust also in that which is greater." And so today, let's pray for those things that are small and also those things that are big. Let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day, this gift of life, and we thank you for everything that you have given us. Help this webcast, help the technology, help everything work, and also the guests who are on today. We thank you for all of the guests. We thank you for all of those who are listening. But especially we ask you to be with those clients, those women, those mothers who are considering abortion today. Help them to choose life. Help them to choose love. And at the end of the day, help them to choose you. And ultimately, we ask that our country, our world, would once again return to a place that cherishes all human life. Amen. Well, today is a very, very big day. And I wanted to start by just illustrating the vision of what Coalition Life does. And our vision, our long-term big vision, is that every woman who seeks an abortion in the United States will encounter a loving and effective advocate for life. We started way back when, on the sidewalk back in 2009 with a really basic prayer vigil. Come out to the sidewalk and pray with us there at the abortion facility. That continued to grow and flourish into professional sidewalk counseling, pregnancy center work, and so much more, including our big announcement today. But our vision is that every woman in the United States would encounter a loving and effective advocate for life. Just because we're Christians, we should be loving, but effective is one of the things that Coalition Life helps to make possible, is being effective out on the sidewalk, in our pregnancy center, and beyond. Today, we're going to cover a lot of things, including our big, huge announcement today. We're going to cover our work on the sidewalk and how important that work is to save lives. Not just here in St. Louis, but across the Midwest and beyond. We're going to talk about the dramatic volume of new women entering our pregnancy center here in the St. Louis area. But that pregnancy center services so many different places. We're going to talk about why it's not just a single location pregnancy center, why it is servicing women all across the country as well. And of course, we're going to talk about the landscape of what we're really up against. We had a lot of things happen in the last several years, and we are really turning the corner. Things are really moving in the right direction. I'm very, very excited about to share that information with you today from a broad perspective of we should be excited. We should be excited of all the things that are happening in the pro-life movement, especially here in the Midwest. And so our first guest is a dear friend of ours, Kim St. Ange. She has a wonderful program with Mark Cox on the 97.1 radio show every single morning, 5 days a week. You can see Mark and Kim there in the morning. And so Kim, she's incredibly busy. And so she agreed to do meet with me earlier this week. And so listen in to hang out with Kim here and her amazing words on what we need to do to increase our pro-life impact. Well, thanks, Kim. I appreciate you squeezing us in today and having a little bit of time to talk about these important issues related to life. And of course, thank you for your work on 97.1 and all the things you do to push conservative values here in the St. Louis area and beyond. So welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, Kim, there's so much happening here in Missouri, also over in Illinois and across our region. What are some of the latest and greatest news that you know about the abortion issue?
Well, the biggest thing is Amendment 3 right here in Missouri, right? So that is going to give us an opportunity as voters to decide whether to put back in place some much needed restrictions on abortion, because as you know, we are one of the most pro-abortion states in the entire country. And so this is really our opportunity to change that. So this is going to be on the ballot this fall. So I'm really hopeful that that will pass. You know, it was no on Amendment 3 back in 2024. This time around, it just was the way it was filed. It actually has the same name, Amendment 3, but it will be a yes on Amendment 3 this fall when the ballot. So that's probably the biggest thing that's affecting all Missourians.
You get basically the front seat to a lot of individuals, big, huge state officers, governors, attorney generals, so what is the kind of the sentiment from those individuals who are a lot of the decision makers on the political side?
Well, we were just talking with Lieutenant Governor Dave Singer, and he was talking about this decision to have Amendment 3 on the ballot. And I know he's staunchly pro-life. I know Governor Kehoe is too, which is I'm very, very happy that he's been outspoken about that, because it's easy to have a lot of these political leaders. And like you said, we talk to them on the show. And when they're on the campaign trail and they're trying to get your vote, they might say, oh, we're pro-life. We support that. And we're going to make sure we do everything we can to make sure that's the case here in Missouri. And then when they're elected and they get in office, that's just not what happens. So thankfully, we have a governor and a lieutenant governor who very much support that. But we also have a number of representatives, of senators who are pushing for that too.
That's incredible. Incredible. Now, Kim, you haven't always been pro-life, yes?
No, I was not pro-life at all growing up. I was pro-abortion growing up, and it's not because I grew up that way. It's not like my parents instilled that value in me. I chalk it up to what you're a product of your 5 closest friends, they say.
Mhm.
I feel like my friends in high school and many of my friends in college were adamantly pro-abortion. And so maybe it was just to kind of conform and be cool. I don't really know, but I was very much pro-choice. And the whole phrase you hear of body, my choice, the people who are holding the signs out there with that, or, you know, no uterus, no opinion. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I used to agree with that.
Well, so what was the biggest thing that converted you? What was the biggest thing that said, oh gosh, I was wrong before, and now I really have to do something about it?
So 2018, I became a Christian. And it really wasn't until 2020 when my view on abortion started changing, because I'll be honest with you, there were a couple issues that I had a really hard time with and I wrestled with, and abortion was one of them. And as I started reading the Bible and I'm reading these verses, and I realized it was so obvious to me that we were knit in your mother, God says, I knit you in your mother's womb. It's so obvious that there's inherent value in each person from the moment of conception. So it took a long time. It took a couple of years, but I have to just say, maybe it's cliche, but the Bible is ultimately what got me to kind of move over to be more pro-life.
What can you say about how critical housing is for moms, especially single moms?
It is a critical need, because you do hear that that's a barrier for some of these women who are opting to have an abortion. Not for all of them, but the financial part of it certainly is something that people are considering. And when you're listening to people on the pro-abortion side, that's a talking point that you often hear. The argument is, well, they can't afford it. They can't even pay their rent or their bills. How do you expect them to raise a child? So, I can only imagine how challenging that must be for a mom who's in that position. But I think that, if we can help remove that barrier, that's just one less thing that they have to worry about, is if they can feel like they can provide for their other children or provide for this life.
What are some other things that you're aware of that are really pushing the needle forward?
Well, I think that IP reform. So IP reform will also, which by the way is initiative petition reform. We shouldn't be allowed to change our Missouri Constitution that easily. So IP reform is going to make them essentially have to get more support across the entire state, something that you should care something that if you live in Missouri, you will be voting on that here later on this fall, along with Amendment 3. So that's probably one of the biggest ones. And I know that there are people who have been conservatives who have been trying to say we shouldn't be voting for Amendment 3 because it doesn't go far enough. I know people like that. We can all agree. If we're pro-life, many of us, hopefully all of us, agree that we wish this would go farther, right? And that is the end goal. But my stance on it is we have to take the win where we can get it. We're not going to get everything we want with this one amendment. We're just not. That's not likely going to pass. So again, let's just get this across the finish line, and then we'll go from there.
Well, Kim, any words for generally a donor who's supporting pregnancy centers or Coalition Life, or those individuals who are maybe even sitting on the sidelines thinking, maybe I might get involved, maybe I don't. Any Oh, looks like we had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but later on we'll post the entire interview, and you guys can see it later on and see the very end of that. We were just at the end of the interview, but Kim is fantastic. We're excited that she was supporting the work of Coalition Life, and we were glad that she was able to spend a little bit of time with us during I think the last couple of days we were able to hook up with her. So Kim's great. We'll fix those technical details as time goes on, but we're so blessed to be able to have the support of Kim and many other people here in the St. Louis area and beyond. So one of the things we wanted to talk about was our sidewalk counseling. And we're sidewalk counseling in 5 locations around the Midwest, including here in the St. Louis area, 2 of them. We have 2 up in the Chicago region as well, including Chicago, downtown Chicago, that we launched recently. And we're having phenomenal results downtown Chicago. And of course, on the other side of the state in Kansas at Overland Park as well. These sites, including our 24/7 pregnancy center helpline, is serving clients around the Midwest. And it's not just here in these 3 states, but it's all across the country. We have clients who come to us all the way from Atlanta, all the way from Fort Worth and Dallas area, Houston, and even as far as New Orleans. These women are being flown here by the abortion industry. They're being paid for the travel by many of these institutions, including some of these big, huge corporations. They're paying for their travel. And we do know that Planned Parenthood is, in fact, paying for this travel, and many times a one-way ticket. And so when we see people on the ground and they ultimately choose life, they're stranded, they're stuck. And if it were not for our sidewalk counselors there to be able to help them and love them and care for them, and then, of course, pay those bills, those flights to get them back home, her and her baby, to get them back home, they would be stranded here in the St. Louis region, or also up in Chicago and over in Kansas City. So it's really, really important for us to be able to serve these women nationwide. And of course, we don't just send them home and hope for the best. We work with them 24/7 to be able to help them to choose life long-term, well beyond when we meet them on the sidewalk. In the last year, we've seen 488 turnarounds outside the abortion facilities at all of those 5 sites and beyond, and including those sites and others. In the last 15 years, we have seen 5,021 all-time turnarounds across all of our different sites. And one of the things that is really, really unique about sidewalk counseling, going out to the sidewalk is great for everyone. Everyone should come out. You should bring your family, bring your friends, and pray with us on the sidewalk, whether it's through Coalition Life Circle, which will be in June, or through its sidewalk counseling. Come on out, join us, because you will save lives together, collectively. We will save lives on the sidewalk, And we actually guarantee that we will be saving lives on the sidewalk. But one of the things that's really, really cool about our sidewalk counseling program is the young people. There's so incredible young people out on the sidewalk. And so we have a privilege to be able to work with them every single day. And so let's take a look at the amazing young people.
Really important to have a public pro-life presence because abortion is the taking of an innocent human life.
Sidewalk counseling has really taught me a lot about myself and has really developed my skills too.
It helped me so much in my own personal formation, and it's also just been so fruitful and so rewarding to see the women that are going in to Planned Parenthood to be a tool that God uses to stop them and to save life.
So you just found out you're pregnant?
Yeah.
Okay, if you actually just want to pull over here so you're not in the driveway,
Yeah.
I can get you scheduled for a free ultrasound.
From the moment I started my training with both Jackie and Rachel, they're both amazing about reminding me that my performance isn't my identity.
Training program is very essential. I would think that it keeps us sharp and it keeps us motivated.
Going in blind, I had never talked to anyone going to get an abortion before. It's a hard conversation to have. I mean, that's the reality of it. It is hard work. At times it is heartbreaking and grueling.
I would say the most frustrating part is when the patients just run in and they don't stop for us.
Sometimes I wish I had a job where I wasn't afraid of getting arrested. But I also love the mission of Coalition Life and love being able to help all the people that I do. So that fear is totally worth it.
When people bring up that need of housing, I just know that that's a giant hurdle for them in their mind.
To have housing, it is so vital that we have that security of being able to come home to a place to lay our heads along with our children.
And so having somewhere to live, to be cared for, a safe environment where they can have their baby and be protected from the elements and have a safe place to live is wonderful. It's a great blessing for many of them.
If you'd like to go ahead and back out, we can get to over there. Yeah, if you want to back out here.
Woman, she came in, didn't really talk to us. The escorts immediately surrounded her. They just preferred her to go inside. But it was something that we said calling out to her as she was walking in. She was in there for maybe 30 minutes or so, came out, and then drove down the driveway and said, "What was that you said about the free resources?"
Sometimes we get a turnaround like that. Like when you started, connecting sidewalk counseling to pregnancy resource centers, sometimes they're like, well, we can get it for you for free. And that's why they turn around. So you don't get to hear their whole circumstance. They're excited to have a free pregnancy resource, which tells you that there should be a lot more pregnancy resource centers.
It's one of my favorite things to watch a woman leave Planned Parenthood. It is so awesome. I love it.
I do think it's very important for young people to be involved. I feel like I've learned so much through doing sidewalk counseling. Like I've learned so much about the pro-life movement.
When I see younger people, it kind of draws you in because you want to know how much they know.
It'd be really beneficial to have younger people on the team. I mean, even just myself, I'm 19, and so there are so many people, so many that are going in and they're my age.
If you want to get involved, I would say sidewalk counseling is a great way to do it. And I mean, just praying on the sidewalk too, if you don't feel comfortable sidewalk counseling.
I have loved my time at Coalition Life. Been very rewarding. It's been very challenging. It has helped me grow in so many ways. It has brought me on my knees in prayer, but it has also brought me great joy to be part of a movement that is making a difference.
I think people have to get past that mental hurdle in their own minds or that fear that sits on their chest.
Sometimes it feels like we aren't making a difference, but we are because we're planting seeds.
I would like to say thank you for your support and what you do. please continue to support the pro-life movement.
It doesn't matter how you feel. If you feel like you've been doing it for years, you feel like you're brand new, it doesn't matter. The truth is it's every life is worth defending, and nobody should die like that.
Well, we're so excited about our pregnancy center as well, including the work we're doing on the sidewalk. So thank you to all of those incredible young people who are out there doing that work. We're going to turn our attention to the pregnancy center work that we do. As many of you guys know, we had a huge increase in the number of women coming to us in the last 12 months or more, actually since January of 2024. We have actually had an increase of 123% increase in clients here at our pregnancy center. And what that meant is that we had 1,280 women that we were able to serve through our Women's Care Connect Pregnancy Center program, including 7,120 all-time women. And we talk about this as being not just a place that they are receiving diapers or receiving maternity clothes or receiving maybe a crib or a car seat, these kind of things. And we do those things as well. But this is about a woman who calls on the phone and really, really struggling about abortion, believing that abortion is her only option, that that's the only thing that she has. And we have an opportunity to talk to her and say, look, there are other ways. There are other options. And let's build a path forward for you. And one of the ways we do that is through ultrasound. And so since we were blessed to receive an ultrasound machine a few years back, we've done 681 ultrasounds, including, as you see on the screen, an incredibly brand new ultrasound room as well. We did a great, big, huge renovation of the pregnancy center, including the ultrasound room. And so 681 women have been able to see their little baby up on the screen. Whether it's a tiny little blinking dot or a larger child who's further along with little toes and fingers, we have an opportunity to show them their baby on that screen. And even more so, we have had an opportunity to actually meet in person. We have an opportunity to meet 730 babies in person. While we've seen 5,000 turnarounds on the sidewalk, a lot of the stories we don't really know. We do know that we've had an increase of 56% increase in turnarounds across all of our different sites, but sometimes we just don't know. We don't know the rest of the story. But for 730 of them, we've had an opportunity to meet them in person. We've had an opportunity to hold them in our arms. And so we celebrate that. We're excited about that. And we're excited about the increased, we talked about this a few months back, which is our huge renovation project and our ribbon cutting we did. And since then, we've been serving so many women. They've been able to come in. We've been able to serve up to 6 mothers at the same time. And pregnancy centers are really the workhorse of the pro-life movement, with 3,000 or so. Sometimes it's calculated as 4,000 pregnancy centers around the country. But pregnancy centers are where a lot of work happens. A lot of work happens there. And so we thank our pregnancy center team, but we also know that there's a lot of knowledge about pregnancy centers around the country, including our next guest. Our next guest is Lisa Peters, who spent a lot of time in Detroit, and she ran a pregnancy center starting in 1995. Has an enormous amount of knowledge about how pregnancy centers work, why they're important, and how can we serve those women well. She also spent 20 years as the director of Right to Life Michigan, including 6 years as their treasurer, the president of Tri-City Right to Life. She's also a certified life coach through Professional Christian Coaching Institute. I mean, this woman I am just honored to call a friend. because this is just the tip of the iceberg. She is working on so many incredible, incredible projects all at the same time. And so I would just love to welcome our special guest, Lisa Peters, to the program. Welcome.
Thank you, Brian. And thank you for that kind and a little bit over the top introduction.
Well, Lisa, it's great to call you a friend. I'm so glad that you've been able to be on the webcast with us today, the big news webcast. And Lisa, I think you're the one who has this big news for us. Yes?
I do. So you're right. I was very involved in pro-life work in Michigan, but several years ago, my husband and I moved back to St. Louis, which is my hometown. Rich retired, and our pro-life commitment took a different turn. He noticed that at my work at the Pregnancy Resource Center, we could meet the needs of an abortion vulnerable woman in almost every aspect, except if she lacked stable housing. So Rich thought if we could only provide a real chance home, that's what he called it, a real chance home, it would make all the difference. So we ourselves founded a new, unique pro-life ministry called Birthstone. And Birthstone's mission is to support single moms who choose life by providing a free long-term residence and intensive support. I'm talking over 1 to 3 years. And we started that program in 2020, and I am thrilled to announce the big announcement today is that Birthstone is now officially a part of Coalition Life. And we are so excited about this new partnership and the ability it's going to bring for both of our organizations to serve mothers and their children.
Well, Lisa, it's been an honor to serve on the board of directors for since our inception, since day one there at Birthstone. And it was an honor to be asked. And so really getting to know you and Rich and all the great people at Birthstone. It's one of these kind of, I would say, this amazing jewel that we have here in the St. Louis area. So tell me tell the listeners just a little bit more, like, what's behind the scenes of Birthstone? What makes it so unique and special?
Well, I think what makes it unique is the commitment that we bring one-to-one to a mother and her family through the cornerstone of our program is the one-on-one life coaching. So when we receive a mom into one of our homes, she comes in and she meets each and every week with a certified life coach, one of our resident advocates, who helps her identify her goals for herself and for her family, and walks alongside her week by week to offer that kind of unique long-term support that allows her to identify and accomplish her goals for herself, to achieve self-sufficiency eventually, and create a stable family life for herself and her children.
So when we think of a maternity home, where a woman comes in, she's pregnant, and then eventually leaves within a few months, maybe after the baby is born. Tell us, is this your stereotypical maternity home, or what does it look like?
No, I really think that Birthstone is a hybrid for sure, because sometimes all of the women that we serve are referred to us by a partner agency such as Coalition Life's Women's Care Connect Pregnancy Center or other pregnancy centers in the area. So they've already encountered a woman who is maybe abortion vulnerable. Maybe she's worked with the pregnancy center and chosen life, but her living situation is very unstable. And so she needs somewhere to go. And in the course of the years that we acquired one home in 21, one in 22, one in 23, we've welcomed 8 families now and a total of 15 children. And we've actually had 3 babies born in the house. So in one of our houses. So not actually in the house, but when the mom was in residence with us.
You
So,
know, a lot of people love home births, but we're not doing that, right?
yeah, no. So, so when I say it's a hybrid, so sometimes we have the mom, well, she comes to us with another child and she's pregnant. We've had families of up to 3 kids. And so we're not, or she might have already given birth, but needs a place to get started. And so we're kind of a hybrid in terms of being a maternity home. We actually are part of Missouri's maternity home tax credit program, which we are qualified for. So, but it is unique in that our approach is narrow and deep. We work with this one mother very intensely, and what happens is as the time goes on, you can't just turn your life around in a month or 3 months or even 6 months. We have to give these women a long runway to sometimes they identify that they want to go back to school or they want to get additional certifications. We had, do you mind if I tell a story?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, please
So
do.
we had a mom come in who had just given birth to her 3rd child. She had over $30,000 worth of debt. She had a minimum wage job. And she never had aspired to anything more than that. She just was overwhelmed. And in the course of her 2 years in our Birthstone home with the coach walking alongside her week by week, identifying small goals, one step at a time, she graduated from the program last year, completely out of debt. She doubled her income. She adopted new parenting skills. She developed new parenting skills. We linked her to all kinds of support agencies. She became a master at budgeting, and we used the Dave Ramsey program. And she completely transformed how she thinks about her life and the lives of her children. And she has created a peaceful environment now for these 3 kids going forward. So we think that Birthstone makes a generational difference. And that was also one of Rich's goals from the very beginning when he had this vision for a real chance home.
Well, one of the things, so long ago, when we were early in our pro-life work, I would tell my team or my wife or friends, I said, you know what? I never want to be a pregnancy center. I was actually pretty critical of pregnancy centers because I said, well, at the end, we have a single mom, right? At the end, you know, she has chosen life for her baby, but at the end, there's a single mom. And so the idea of going deep with her and saying, look, we thank you for choosing life for your baby, even though you were at the brink of abortion. We're going to walk alongside you for a long time to be able to help you. I think that's a huge thing I love about Birthstone.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because most of the women that come to us have they come out of all kinds of backgrounds, sometimes domestic violence, they've had early childhood trauma, and almost none of them has ever had someone who was just in her corner for her. And in fact, it often takes several months, 6 months, for them to gain trust. I mean, they don't trust that we really are just for them because it's such a unique and unfamiliar experience. And so we really, that's why it takes time. It takes time for them to buy in to the fact that this coaching is really as effective and that they can make the changes in life to create to realize their own vision for themselves. And I think that's also an important part of the program is we are not imposing our goals. It's their goals for themselves.
Right. So why now work with Coalition Live? Tell me about, well, we just lost your video. Let me see if Lisa will come back here. Let me see if anyone friends here might see her. All right. Well, let's see if she'll join back. But while we're waiting for Lisa to come back, we had a little short presentation ready to show you the impact of birthstone and why it's important. So let's take a look at that while we're waiting for Lisa to come back.
I found out I was pregnant. I was not in the best living situation.
Was going through a divorce right before I found out I was pregnant. You know, I had no options.
What happens after a woman chooses life?
Rich, tell us about the idea of birthstone.
The thing that kind of got it over the hill is I was talking to various people, and we were at a family friend kind of barbecue. And a friend came up and he said, "What do you do?" And I started, I've had this idea. And he said, you people, you people, you know, you keep saying, hey, we got to keep your baby and do this and do that, and then they're on their own. And I said, well, they're not on their own. It stung. So I said, okay, you got to do something. We decided, well, let's give it a go. Let's get a house and let's start to learn about what we need to be good at this.
Birthstone was created to meet a need, not just for a moment, but for the journey that follows.
I want to give these mothers a real chance home. Not just short term, not 30 days or 2 months or whatever. I want to give them a real chance home.
A long-term residential program for mothers who chose life, offering stability, support, and a path forward.
I had a tough pregnancy, and if I wasn't living in this house with birthstone, there's probably no way I could have made it through. Jackson, he has his own room. He's got a crib now, and to be honest, because of birthstone, he's here.
Birthstone has provided such a great home. Theo, he's going through all these milestones, and I'm very happy that I can provide a safe and secure place for him.
Here, women find more than shelter. They find direction, community, and the tools to build a future.
A program gives them women an opportunity to be self-sufficient.
My self-esteem has definitely skyrocketed. I'm so thankful for Birthstone. I think the future of my boys is going to be so much brighter. I feel very proud of myself for achieving as much as I have.
Now, as part of Coalition Life, that mission continues to grow.
I just want to say thank you, Brian, who's been on the board of Birthstone Corporation since its inception, and we are very grateful for the experience that you've shared with us in managing a nonprofit so effectively for so many years.
Supporting women not only in their decision, but in everything that comes after.
Being in this Birthstone program, I have seen a lot of growth. And just thank you. Without you, we wouldn't be here.
Well, we're so glad to be part of Birthstone, and together we can help save more lives. I think Lisa made it back in, and word on the street is that we should get ice packs behind our cell phones. Is that true?
I got no audio here.
All right. Can you hear us? All right, we'll bring her back in another time, and we'll get you going here. But Lisa, we were so blessed and honored to have you on the program. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of gremlins, I think, in our technology today. But the life-saving work is the same. The same, right down the hallway here. We know that moms are in the pregnancy center right now, and there are lives being saved, ultrasounds being done. We have our teams out on the sidewalk doing the work of saving lives every single day. And so today we're excited to announce our partnership with Birthstone and the incredible work that Birthstone is doing, and where we want to take it. I let the cat out of the bag. I talked to a handful of friends about Birthstone and how important that work is. And they said, so what are you going to do with it? Like, how far are you going to go? And to me, we have this incredible opportunity to grow and expand and to ensure that every single mom can choose life. That having a roof over her head, she shouldn't choose between having a roof over her head or or choosing life. She should be able to have a roof and choose life at the same time. And so Birthstone is a beautiful, beautiful program. We are blessed to be able to steward this program into the years and decades into the future. And I thank Lisa and I thank Rich for trusting us with that. And finally today, as part of this big announcement, we are honored to have a matching challenge, a $132,350 matching challenge from today until May 29th, which is the deadline. And so this matching challenge, as you know, often in the spring we have a matching challenge. This time it's a little different. It's a little special because we have this brand new program that we are able to continue to grow and promote as well. And so if you want to donate directly to Coalition Life through coalitionlife.com/donate, or if you're on YouTube or Facebook, there should be a link below on the /donate as well. But also you can donate directly to Birthstone. If you're in Missouri or pay taxes to Missouri, both of these programs qualify for the 70% tax credit. And so through Coalition Life, you can get the 70% tax credit through the Pregnancy Center, but then also through Birthstone, through the maternity home tax credit, that's also a 70% tax credit as well. They all work the same. And so if you feel really drawn towards Birthstone and being able to provide that real chance home, we invite you to donate directly there or donate to Coalition Life. Both of which Coalition Life is running both of these programs, and we will continue to steward your gifts as well. If you'd like to donate to both Birthstone and really drive it forward and Coalition Life, we invite you to do that today as well. I wanted to end with a story about Sophia. Sophia, her mother, Ariel, was met on the sidewalk in St. Louis. Ariel was driving in to the St. Louis Planned Parenthood to take the life of her little baby. And she met a sidewalk counselor out there. And these sidewalk counselors, there's training, but, it's hard to prepare for some of these situations. And so this sidewalk counselor met this woman and she said, you know what, I'm a dancer. And if I don't have this abortion, then I'll be pregnant and I won't be able to dance anymore. And I won't be able to provide a roof over my head. I won't be able to provide for all the things that I need to do to just survive from day to day to week to week. And, our sidewalk counseling, there's not a lot of, things we aren't prepared for, but sometimes, we have stories like this, like, well, what am I going to do about someone who's dancing? But thanks be to God, Ariel turned around and she left. And our Women's Care Connect program continued to follow up with her. And we got to see beautiful Sophia born. And we share this photo. It sits in our office. And every time I pass by, I say a little prayer for her, and I say a little prayer for her mother, because that sidewalk counselor out that day was me. And God doesn't really prepare us beforehand to go out. But she's just one of those photos, one of those, 730 babies that we've had an opportunity to meet. And so what I can do today is, yes, we have this amazing matching challenge. Yes, we have this incredible work through Birthstone that we're going to continue to steward and grow. And we have the incredible tax credits here in Missouri, the 70% tax credits for either the maternity home or the pregnancy center. But what most importantly is that a donation today means a birthday next year. A donation today I guarantee that there will be birthdays. There will be children who are either scheduled to die in the next year. They will be living a year from now. There will be birthdays that otherwise wouldn't have happened, for it would not have been for the work of Coalition Life and, of course, the beauty of Birthstone as well. And so today I'm inviting you to help me meet more Ariels and meet more Sophias and meet more moms here in our pregnancy center, and also to show them the beauty of their baby on ultrasound. So this, I guarantee, is that we will see more lives saved in the next year than ever before, that we are serving more moms than we've ever served. And so today, let's maximize this matching challenge. Every single dollar is going to go directly to saving babies, saving moms, $132,350. Our deadline to meet that goal is May 29th at midnight. So with that being said, let's pray and let's celebrate the lives that have already been saved, the lives that have already been changed, and a huge thank you to our guest today as well. So let's pray. Lord Jesus, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the gift of life, and we ask you to be with us every step of the way. We ask you to be with the women that we are serving right now, today, as we are talking, as we are listening, as we're walking down the street or whatever it might be. We know that lives are being saved today through your grace. And so we just thank you for all of these lives that are saved, the opportunity to be with their mothers, to be with the fathers of these children, to be with them, not just on the sidewalk, not just through the work on the pregnancy center, but now we thank you. We thank you for the gift of Birthstone that can provide that stable housing for those women who really, really need help. And so we ask you to bless this effort, bless the matching challenge, and ultimately help us to do your will every single day. Amen. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you for being on the webcast. Thank you to Kim, to Lisa, to our entire Sidewalk Counseling team, but especially thank you to you for your generosity through this matching challenge and beyond. Thank you for your support and prayers, and have a good day.